You guys gotta check this out. So the Mets are receiving a lot of controversy with what they did with Tom.
That's probably the darkest place I've ever been. It was worse than the Satanic Temple.
So on to the CIA.
The president has time on his hands.
Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Make sure you guys watch from start to finish. That really helps the channel grow. But with that being said, let's do what we came here for. Let's get into it.
I'm tired of it. Hal is actually extremely evil. He's very quiet. He listens more than he talks. Quiet and sweet and gentle like a nice old grandpa, but he's evil as fuck. There's multiple parties looking at each other like, is Amy not going to publish soon? Didn't we tell this bitch 3 years ago that we kill people for this? Is she not listening? So I have these two different scenarios floating constantly in my life where I have people being like, do it, do it, do it, you're the one. And then I have multiple people being like, they're gonna kill you. Because you're a young woman, they're gonna rape you before they kill you too. I have people breaking into my apartment, digging through my panty drawer so that I notice. Let me tell you.
There's even evidence of nuclear detonations in the ancient world at places like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, even on Easter Island. And by the way, this is something you never hear about. So Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa in India, there was a script that was found. The only other place we find that exact same script is on Easter Island, which is on the exact opposite side of the globe. You know, so there was clearly a worldwide advanced civilization that was going on. Harry Truman, when he wrote in his diary, he says, "We have discovered an ancient weapon."
What the hell is going on?
The president has time on his hands. He controls the narrative. He controls the strike capabilities. It's known about the buildup of force, and yet really to this point, they've yet to negotiate and earn it.
Now, I don't know if they're trying to show us this intentionally or not, but there's no way the producer didn't see a gaping hole in this man's neck. That is a mask, and they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
Watch this.
The plane that Pete Hegseth almost exclusively uses, its tail number is 99-0404. On September 8th, the day that Mitch Snow says that he saw Erica Kirk and Cabot Phillips on Fort Huachuca, that plane goes from Joint Base Andrews out west and then ends up at Fort Huachuca. And it flew there under a call sign SAM 702. What SAM means is Special Air Mission. The only people who can approve or authorize or order a Special Air Mission flight are the president and the vice president.
Hey, my man, in and out. They said go in and out. I just came right over. It was right down the street. If you look in the background, it is packed. If you look behind me, cars wrapped around the building. Lying down there. They taking orders way down there. But they do they got the warning sign here? Yeah, but they try to put a clear coat on it here. Boom, there go warning. You see that? They got a clear coat. Certain foods and beverages sold or served here can expose you to chemicals including acrylamide and many fried or baked goods, mercury and fish, which are known to the state of California to cause cancer or birth defects or other reproductive harm. Can y'all see it? You gotta go right here to see it. Bam! See how they try to put the clear coat acrylic on it?
Most of the
You always got to read the small print, right? But that print, you can't even see it. People walk right past that every day, walking into a building that's serving, I don't want to say the word, the bad cells, the dead cells, right? And birth defects. Eating that food can cause that stuff.
mongering
It's a
comes that
shame.
these reptilians somewhere they eat us. They drink our blood. Let me give you a piece of fact here. Alpha draconian beings and most reptilians do not even have intestines. They do not have intestinal tract. They're breatharians. They take their tail, they connect it behind their body, connect to the soil of their land, and they meditate. That's how they recharge their bodies. They wouldn't need to eat a burger and a coffee to survive. It's not what they do. We're stuck doing that. Not them. Not any extraterrestrial. They have survived so long without eating.
Everything was already in ruins, in shambles. And they say because it's the Bronx, it's all low income, yada, yada.
My baby crying.
But look closely. The bricks tell the truth. The ones that were burned out, look at the detail, the ornate details. Low income, even high income, doesn't touch any level of the beauty from the burned out building on the left's detail to the more modern one. And this is what you see throughout the Bronx, just constant tenant fires, all said to be by some orchestrated landlord scheme. It could be. We see the rich every day, right? Getting rich off of their own tax codes, their own insurance schemes, everything. Massive amounts of beautiful, ornate, old world buildings that shouldn't be in shambles and rubble merely a century after creation. I mean, this is in 1974. This looks like a scene of New York out of a Hollywood movie like Hancock or something, a city that's been abandoned without humanity around for hundreds of years. But this is what they say, a city that isn't thousands of years old like some European city. This is a city that should be, this construction should only be 100 or so years old.
2027, lights out, Tahoe. The city of Tahoe no longer has an energy supply. They're going to have to figure something out because it's going to data centers.
And that's on you, Mel Robbins. And that's on you.
I saw the clip of Demi Moore, and basically she's like, there's nothing to fear with AI. And I'm like, yeah, guess what? I'm going to drive you to Boxtown, Memphis, okay? And you can drive around there, and you can go to the people who are dealing with asthma, who are worried about the cancers coming from Elon's 2 massive data centers there, and you can tell them, there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear when you're Demi Moore and you can get the best healthcare in the world and you look like you're fucking 22. You're always going to be safe.
You're going to be safe.
She doesn't have to worry about a data center opening in
unless her
hometown.
second home is in Tahoe.
She doesn't have to worry about jobs.
Right.
You know, this is what I say. Like, Elon's coming out saying 2027, there's going to be millions, or maybe even billions of robots. They're going to take over your jobs. They're going to do all this. And they're still doing it. They're still building these data centers at alarming rates, even though it's bad for the environment, bad for us, bad for the communities, bad for the people that have been making this country thrive and be what it is. That's the middle class. That's us that's doing that. That's the construction workers, the truck drivers, the janitorial, the cooks. That's, you know, the truck, everybody. That's all of us, y'all. That's not the rich and elite. They hire us to do their work. But yet they're doing everything to destroy us, so they don't need us to do their work.
The talent will show up to a place for a video shoot. Everything is already laid out. The talent will have no idea that they're in a ritual. Sometimes they change the flooring digitally. When they showed up, they wasn't standing on the pentagram. But when the video come out, they are. Every one of these groups has some type of evil saint that they prayed to.
Don't panic and don't freak out, but turn around and tell me what you see on that mountain up there. And he turned around, he's like, where? And I said, up on the top up there. And he goes, oh my God, it's a giant. And when he said that, this thing kind of went like this, and it turned around, and as it took like 3 strides, and it was over the face. And as it did, it changed back and forth from a tree to a person to a tree to a person as it was going off. And I went, yeah, that thing can camouflage somehow. And we're like, wow. So then the people, they're looking at what we're looking at, and they don't see it now because it's gone. And they're like, what's going on? Que pasa? And I said, guys, does anybody here ever tell y'all that there's a giant in this region? And all the pastors went, yeah, there's one that lives on top of that mountain right up there.
Oh my gosh. Wow, you've got like 5 or 6 or more people confirming.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, we just saw it. He said, yeah, he's a devil. And they just went, yeah, you know, to hell with that devil. And they just went right back to praying. I mean, it's just part of their life and part of who they are. And yeah, so that was my giant story. And that's the only time I've ever seen it. And we've rescued more than 1,000 kids down there since then. And we continue to do the work down there, but it's hairy down there.
Watch this.
Okay, this is either really cool or a little strange, but that's who you're doing business with, right? So.
What is this?
That is Marilyn's hair. So.
You can clone her.
That's awesome.
You can clone her.
That's awesome.
Oh my God, I'm literally going to do some crazy voodoo shit that I like. Wait. Going to do some crazy voodoo shit that I like.
and I channel her. This is so special to me. Thank you so much. This is so cool. So cool. Good vibes. Wow. This is sleeping with me every night. Sorry, babe.
If Kim Kardashian spends millions buying objects that belong to dead celebrities, it's for a much darker use. We know she bought a lock of Marilyn Monroe's hair and many other extremely famous objects, but that's only what she actually shows us. For years, Kim has been collecting personal belongings from deceased stars, and when you really think about it, it's absolutely not normal to see someone doing that, because in certain beliefs, owning the belongings of a dead person means owning a direct connection to them. And when a rumor has been circulating for years claiming that Kim channels dead celebrities, these purchases suddenly take on a completely different meaning. The worst part is that when you look at the rest of her family, it makes even more sense. The symbolism is everywhere. All the other sisters do things that are just as strange. Forbidden tattoos, strange signs. People have even noticed that every man who gets involved with this family eventually falls apart. But Kim remains the strangest from what we know. She even played a witch in American Horror Story who steals a baby to obtain fame. And often you have to understand that fiction hides reality. Nobody spends that much money just to display objects in a glass case. The objects, the symbolism, the rituals, everything is connected. What Kim is collecting is not a collection. It's connections with people who are no longer here. And what she really does with them, nobody has ever been able to explain.
Aren't these guys also setting booby traps all around it?
Booby traps, punji pits, Vietnam era punji pits, except now cartel are doing them with...
Punji pits are...
So punji pits are, they dig a big hole in the ground, cut down bamboo sticks, and they sharpen one edge to be razor sharp. And they put them on a platform so they all stick up. And then they put down thatch or leaf litter to make it look like the trail. And then our soldiers walk, fall right into it, and they might fall 2, 3, 4 feet down.
Ugh.
And that bamboo stick is shearing the ankle, it's going up the Achilles. And what they're doing is they put human excrement all over the tips of those stabbing spears for the punji pits for infection. Because if you take out a soldier and you don't take them fatally, think of the internal infection they're going to get from that. So fast forward to a little bit later, Whiskey Town National Park, and a cartel element had put their version of a punji pit on that trail, but what they had put on the tips was the EPA banned nerve agent insecticides. Banned in the US because EPA determined over 20 years ago it's way beyond human consumption limits for safety, even if this one container is diluted with 6,000 freaking gallons of water. So, but these guys had put that poison on the tips of the punji pits.
1783 right there. People in the air. That's a World's Fair right there. And you see that they already had the technology to be in the air in 1783. So you could stage a whole bunch of alien invasions when the people don't even know that the technology that people were in the air in 1783 right there. This is why when you see like the Wright brothers and they like fake their airplane up in the air and it never lands, which is funny when you think about it, they were already in the air. 1783. People were already in the air, floating around, and you could stage alien invasions when you have things like this right there. There you go. And it's interesting, in the 1880s, they published articles that UFOs and flying saucers were invading the towns. Those are blimps. That's what that is. So the thing is they have been building this alien invasion, and the aliens are going to come, and they're going to get us from outer space for a very long time. The same
alien in the comments down below, or UFO. If they come out and tell us alien invasion is going to happen, do you think anybody's going to care? Do you think anybody's going to bat an eye? Anyone's going to freak out? If you don't think so, drop that in the comments, y'all. I really want to know what you guys think. If they come out, because they're trying everything, I feel like, and nothing's working. Nancy Guthrie, Minnesota riots, this Iran war, nothing's working, y'all. Nothing's working. We're still pissed at gas prices. Nobody cares if they got nuclear weapons. Honestly, nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. I know I don't, right? Until they're going to lift it and we get an alert on TV saying in 10 minutes it's going to hit, then I'm going to care. But they don't even got nothing. They did that playbook on us already.
people, right? The same people, the same tiny hats that run the government in the 1800s are the same tiny hats who run the government in 2026.
Other problem that I always think about, especially on the East Coast, bugs. Yeah. President Trump just opened the Rose Garden 2 nights ago, and he invited me to dinner there. Yeah. The amount of gnats that were flying around, I'm like, holy shit. As soon as I got on the plane, I called my head of production and said, yeah, let me tell you about the gnat situation tonight. So when you're a fighter, think about that lighting grid, the claw that we're going to have, the amount of power in the lights, moths, gnats, and God knows what else. Fighters trying to deal with that. So
That's going to be interesting to see because it's going to be, it's summertime, it's humid, it's especially, I don't know, I've never been to Washington, D.C., but I'm guessing, it's not a dry heat like Arizona. It's going to be a little humidity in the air with those bright lights. That's going to be something to see, right?
Yes. Stop lying. Stop acting. You all never went to space. Follow Jesus. God's watching you all. Stop lying to the public. Your psyop isn't working on millions of us. NASA's a joke.
Hey, their body language.
Repent before God, y'all.
Their body language.
I see through your lies. I know you never went to space.
I saw through it too with that body language they were
God's watching
showing.
you all.
You guys got to check this out. So the Mets are receiving a lot of controversy with what they did with Tom Hanks a few days ago at one of their home games. Now, usually at these games, whenever they show a celebrity, they just show them up on the big screen, they wave, and they go to the next celebrity. But this time, they decided to reenact a little scene. And this is from the movie Castaways. But a lot of you know this symbolism, not just from the movie Castaways, but if you're an OG, you know that there's a darker side to this symbol. Now, I don't know if they were trying to portray that. I'm just saying there's two sides to every story. Now, you can see that the mascot has the symbol on his head, and then they start to reenact something in person where Tom Hanks writes something on the piece of paper. He turns it around and it says, "I am not allowed to talk." Now, there are a few celebrities who have worn this symbol, and it also had a lot of controversy behind it. You can see Ellen DeGeneres and Jay-Z, they're both wearing, it looks like the same sweatshirt. I think it's an off-white sweatshirt. And then Lady Gaga, who literally dressed up as this. I'm just saying that this is very interesting, and this is why we root for the Yankees, not the Mets.
I mean, not only they did it, right? But they know, even if it doesn't have nothing to do with that, they know that it's out in the atmosphere, that people think that that is involved with that. You know what I mean? Like, why even do it? Even if it's not, why even entertain that and put it on the billboard, on the jumbotron? Right? They're just throwing it in our face. Like, whether it's real or it's not real, at the end of the day, that's what the people think. The ones that are in that stadium paying for that stadium to be, for those players, $1 million contracts for that $1 billion stadium, we're paying for that. And they're going to throw that in our face. And people are cheering and, yeah, Tom Hanks, yeah. When are we going to wake up, y'all?
It's insane. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds for the data center.
Those are workers? That's crazy. Looks like a PI or a PIR. Looks like a NASCAR. I was going to say PIR, Phoenix International Raceway.
Holy crap, go in there. It's like
Arby's police, yep.
Dang.
They want to get these
It's
built
massive.
fast, huh? They're not taking their time with these. They're really... You know what it kind of reminds me of? The movie 2012, when they have to get it built quick and they start going and finding people. You know how to do this, you know what I mean? And they got all these people and they just started doing it quick. That's kind of what these data centers are reminding me of. They're in a rush.
Hundreds.
They're going up
For the
everywhere.
data center.
Not one this year, one in the next 10 years. It's like all right now.
The question was asked is what's the water demand that's going to be required for the 2 units? Currently, we are looking at 4 million gallons a day. Now, I think it's really important when we say that is it is not a facility that is going to take 4 million gallons of water each and every day. We have other customers that everybody knows that are in the community, from wholesale customers to hospitals and other large infrastructure that uses a lot of water every day. Like when a data center is asking us about the availability of water a day, they're talking about water on the hottest day, not a year-round average. So the maximum demand is from each system right now is 4 million gallons.
Blood. But that's not what they call it. Try it.
Why are they doing all these things on live streams, y'all? Like
the Fountain of Youth.
Seriously.
Like, even if they're just playing around.
Oh, wait,
like,
can you stop for a second?
Why
I'm at
is it
waterfall.
everywhere? Why is the Illuminati moving into YouTube in the live stream game now? It sucks, y'all. It sucks. Like they're
Oh my
taking
God.
over. They're taking over.
What
And
the fuck is that?
Exactly what you think it is.
it sucks, y'all. Doing all this sacrifice stuff right here
How do I
on,
look so young at 36?
on the stream.
Why do you have this back here?
The dress Beyoncé wore at the Met Gala hides something nobody was supposed to understand. In reality, the symbolism behind her dress was completely dark. At first, everyone thought Beyoncé had taken inspiration from the Statue of Liberty, but people started researching it, and what they found had nothing to do with that. The dress was actually inspired by an artwork called The Visitor by Caroline Durieux, an artist from Louisiana. And that artwork literally shows a skeleton standing in front of someone's door. It dates back to 1944 and symbolizes death and an unwelcome presence. When you look again at Beyoncé's dress with that context, it's clearly not a coincidence. Everything had been calculated, and what makes all of this even stranger is Blue Ivy's presence beside her. The Met Gala is an adults-only event, so normally Blue Ivy was not supposed to be there. Nobody expected to see her, and especially nobody expected to see how she was dressed. Her outfit looked like a wedding or ceremonial dress, as if Beyoncé was visually passing something down to her in front of the entire world. Everything in that staging pointed toward Blue Ivy. Beyoncé herself spent the entire night talking only about her daughter. Every answer she gave during interviews always came back to Blue, as if the purpose of her presence that night wasn't really about Beyoncé, but about her daughter. But on top of that, Jay-Z was there too. It had been a very long time since they had appeared together at an event, as if he was preparing something. Jay-Z was wearing a classic tuxedo, very discreet. You could almost think he didn't want too much attention on himself, especially with all the criticism and attention surrounding him lately. The entire presentation of this family that night felt abnormal. And when you put everything together, the skeletal dress inspired by death, Blue Ivy dressed like she was attending a ceremony, and Beyoncé speaking only about her daughter, it clearly suggests that Beyoncé wants to pass the torch. She represents the end of one life, while her daughter represents the beginning of another. Something strange was hidden behind their appearance that night.
What do you mean they're not actually AI data centers? They're actually fusion centers. I didn't even know what that was.
So trippy. Well, you know about the labyrinths that they found in Egypt?
No. Oh, the Ben Van Kerkwicks?
Yeah.
That is so trippy.
The 40-meter metallic object that's shaped like a Tic Tac that's under the ground. There's a 40-meter object that's in that labyrinth that's in some vast corridor that's metallic.
So crazy.
It's one solid piece. It's 40 meters.
It's crazy.
But one of the most interesting facts that came out of this scan was it seems like in this massive central atrium that's this one big giant open room 40-50 meters long that connects to all of these levels. There seems to be this unidentified metallic object that's freestanding in this room. It's about 40 meters long and it seems to be tic-tac shaped is what this report said. So
it's a fucking UFO. It's a UFO in Egypt. Have you
know.
ever asked anyone that has any inkling of any idea of where they got them or how they got them?
At least one of them was part of an archaeological dig. So it's old. At least one of them is old. I don't know if it was the one I worked on, but I remember something to do with an archaeological dig.
Whoa.
So that means it's not just old, it's ancient.
What is that? We need to go down and figure out what that is.
The world will move towards an AI surveillance state. What does that mean in reality for the average person? So for the average person, it means two things. It means digital ID and digital currency. So what that will allow is for the government to basically monitor everything you do online and control all financial transactions. It can basically program your bank account. So like you can't buy cigarettes or you can't buy drugs. And this will allow the government to basically categorize everyone and put everyone into a certain database to monitor that person. And once you're able to categorize everyone, you are able to use AI to predict their behavior.
Or Berenstain.
I remember reading them, but never looking close enough to like remember.
I remember hearing it, Berenstain.
Yeah, but I always heard.
I remember the
people
Berenstain
talk
Bears.
about it, Bernstein Bears.
I don't remember how it was spelled, but that's how I
If I was to
pronounced
trust
it.
my instincts, I would have to go with the one on the right.
Steinstein.
So, Darren, you would be correct if you really followed your gut.
You became a squeaky toy.
Kendrick Lamar literally went on a Super
This is
Bowl
crazy.
show and
That's
literally
what I was
said,
saying.
hey, Drake, literally said his name and said, Drake, you're a pedophile. That same year, listen, bro, I know it's probably fucked up to comprehend. That same year, Dirk gets arrested for murder for hire. The name of their song in 2020 when they dissed me was Laugh Now, Cry Later. I'm not saying this is God, because God loves everyone. But in Isaiah, I believe it's 41, God says, and I'll pull it up, God says, anyone who has humiliated you, I will put to shame in front of the world.
So you're saying they're crying later now?
If you were facing murder for hire, charges in the feds, and 2 of your best friends were cooperating, what would you be doing? If someone called you a pedophile on national television and the most watched entertainment show, the Super Bowl, in all America, what would you do? Would you be smiling?
No, Drake sued over that.
So how would you feel?
Upset.
God is real. Never speak on someone's situation until you go through it.
That's so crazy. I was saying when that happened, like they even did it on the Grammys. When he won a Grammy, they played that part. They could have played any part of the song. They played that part of calling Drake a you know what. And then on the Super Bowl, on the biggest stage, like he said, the #1 most watched entertainment thing probably in the country every year is the Super Bowl halftime show. And he said that, y'all. Like that and people I don't listen to that music really no more, but I know Drake came out with a song and I'm sure it's got 1 billion views by now. Millions, if not 1 billion. Probably not 1 billion, but it's got millions of views by now, I bet. Even though that jacket is on him. That's not a jacket you put on somebody without proof, right? That's the worst jacket you can have put on you. You don't put that on somebody just to make a hit record, right? At least I wouldn't. But said it on national TV on the Super Bowl halftime show.
All right, Spielberg's new movie Disclosure Day is going to come out. You know, it's about aliens. It's obvious in the trailer. But what if aliens came before this movie came? I mean, seriously, think how funny that would be. Spielberg spent $150 million on this original big sci-fi concept. You know, and then right before that movie comes out, aliens hit. Because no one's going to go see that movie if aliens are actually up in the sky. Because who wants to go see a fake movie about aliens when aliens are real and they're here? You know, this Disclosure Day movie could just be predictive programming to get us ready because the government's going to release fake aliens. Because if you watch my videos enough, you know I think those fake alien invasions are going to come. You know, project that word we can't say. I mean, most likely the budget for this movie is $150 million because Spielberg's 79 years old and we're probably not going to get another movie, so he's going to go out with a bang. But you know, this screenplay was written by the same guy that did Jurassic Park and War of the Worlds for Steven Spielberg. So hopefully when the government does do that fake alien invasion, they hire a good screenplay and, you know, creature design artist. But no, it's going to be something bad. I just know. But do y'all think this Disclosure Day movie is actually just predictive programming and they're getting us ready?
Standing there looking at 2 9-foot stone doors. I know everybody out there is going to think, well, why didn't he open them? Well, because there was water leaking through the top of the door. And he knew that if he tried to open them doors, that he was going to end up in one of the many drainages that heads to the Grand Canyon. I know this individual very well, and I find him to be one of the most credible people I've ever known in this game. To give further validation, as he stood there and looked at these 2 9-foot stone doors, examining how they were constructed and such, they had a certain type of a hinge.
Candace Owens got a hold of some of that footage.
Yeah, she did.
I'm not making that up.
No,
That's
she
real.
did.
So she actually got that.
Mauser 98 fires 30-06, gets dismantled, left in the woods over there. They have a gun dog, like a sniffer, right? Walks right past it. This is the alleged murder weapon. Just got fired less than an hour prior. And you've got a trained dog that doesn't spot it. But it does get spotted after the feds arrive. I mean, just go down some of the things. I mean, the 30-06 angle makes absolutely no sense. I'm not some professional hunter or anything, but I've shot a lot of guns and sorry, I don't buy that.
Candace Owens got a hold of some of that footage.
Yeah, she did.
I'm not making that up.
No,
That's
she
real.
did.
So she actually got that. And it looks strange. And look, because at 30, again, I'm going off of the really smart gun guys that know a lot more about that than I do. But most of those guys that I've either talked with or heard break it down who I don't know online, they're like, it would have blown, it literally would have taken
what
at
I
that
heard, too.
distance his head off of his neck. There would be nothing left.
Multiple wildfires have broken out in Southern California, with more than 40,000
we go
acres
again.
burned so far this year. Flames consume trees in seconds as firefighters battle the Sandy fire. Most containment rates remain low as of Tuesday evening,
this next
according
clip.
to CAL FIRE. In Ventura County, evacuation orders and warnings remain in place. Meanwhile, several people have been injured in the Bain fire in Riverside County, according to authorities. A rare smoke devil was seen due to the intense heat from the Verona fire. More than a dozen are concurrently raging across the entire state, which is less than average at this time of year, according to CAL FIRE statistics. Firefighters are working to strengthen containment lines to prevent the fires from spreading.
Where do we start? Should we start with an alien hybrid breeding program where they're capturing caravans of immigrants and forcing them into this? Or should we start with the fact that a congressman who is well respected thinks that if this is fully disclosed, it's going to set the country on fire? I'm going to hand this one over to you here. I'm speechless.
Sure. Well, first of all, I've had the privilege of speaking to Representative Tim Burchett and his colleagues, and what he's saying regarding access to very sensitive information, he's absolutely correct. Some of the people that briefed those individuals, I personally know. They were colleagues of mine back in the day. He's absolutely correct that some of the population, I think, would probably be potentially concerned about how much we know about this topic, and for several reasons. We can go into that. Now, as far as this notion of alien crossbreeding and hybridization, let me just preface this. When I was in the Pentagon at ATIP, I was a nuts and bolts kind of guy, so really airframe, air integrity, the material science and propulsion behind the vehicles themselves, not so much the occupants. But what Gates is referring to is something called, in the vernacular, it's known throughout kind of the UFO community as MyLabs. And what it suggests is that there's been a long-standing agreement or understanding between us and our friends from out of town that have allowed us to work with whatever these are, in a cooperative agreement. And in exchange for that, supposedly they would have access to certain human specimens biologically in order to test. I have to say, first and foremost, I heard about that while I was at the Pentagon. I was not privy to the specifics of that. From my understanding, that relationship began, if it is true, sometime in the 1950s. And has continued. I have met several individuals, former intelligence officers for the Air Force and other services, who swear by it, who actually say they've had encounters with UAP and have seen military personnel in and around the vehicles, and as if, very nonchalant, as if it was supposed to be. I have to be careful with going into any type of speculation about hybridization or any type of scientific study or research, because again, that was not my forte. But what I will say is I've had plenty of individuals tell me verbatim that the military military industrial complex is far more involved in this topic than anyone really knows. There are cases which seem rather interesting, where you have, in some cases, UAP potentially being escorted by American fighter jets and allied fighter jets. So that would give you some sense of cooperation, maybe between us and whatever they are. I can't tell you for certain, because simply I wasn't privy to that, if that indeed existed. But I will also say it's really not that far of a stretch if we were to come into contact with, let's say, just another nation, right?
It's coming. The fake invasion's coming. The majority of people, like I always say, are asleep. They're going to freak out. Now, we're going to freak out too if, let's be real here. If that damn thing comes down and we're at the grocery store and it blows up the building next to us, we're going to freak out. Let's be real, whether it's real or fake. Because if they expose these, they're not going to be peaceful beings in the skies. They're going to want to put fear in us so they can control us. Because if they're peaceful beings, eventually we're going to get used to it. We adapt, right? If they're just hanging out up there and watching and, whatever. But if they are coming down and they're hostile, which I think that's what they're going to do. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it to get us all in line and get us all together. But, why are they letting these people come out and tippy toe telling us things? I'm not going to get too deep into it, but they're crossbreeding with humans. American Navy jets, whatever, are escorting them. Now I don't know if that means they're working together. They're going to do it, y'all. When? I don't know. Election time, maybe.
Theory here is that Anne Hathaway, famous actress,
Yes.
is the same Anne Hathaway from way back when who was married to Shakespeare. And get this,
Yeah.
her husband, I think his name's Adam Shulman, is the reincarnation of Shakespeare. Now, if you look at pictures of them and you look at paintings of the two from way back when, there's an uncanny resemblance.
Well, because she's got the same name and she looks a bit like her. That's the science that I need.
They just came out and said the bomb threat that was just in New York City was inspired by ISIS. Are y'all getting the feeling that I'm getting? As news agencies say, oh, we got some sleeper cells that are getting ready to be activated. Remember, I just showed you yesterday, every single media, left, right, CNN, ABC, Fox, all of them said the same exact thing. Short-term pain for long-term gain. But right now, there's a new narrative being crafted. And by the way, the president comes out and says that the war is about done, that we won, that it's all good. This happened exactly before in history. You remember that? So
See, this is why I say you guys probably got on me what I said earlier. Like, I don't care if they got a nuclear bomb. Who cares? Right? But that's why. Because they already lied to us about that. They lied to us. Thousands of American soldiers went and gave their life, and they're still giving their life to this day. Every day there's soldiers doing what they're doing to themselves because of that pain they went through out there. Right? For what? For what? And we're doing it again right now, and people are okay with it.
hypothetically, completely unrelated, say like, everything's done, all of a sudden there's a terrible thing that happens in the United States. By the way, Russia is halting all exports to Europe while this is going on. And there's a new Supreme Leader. It's the old Supreme Leader's son. And the US said if he does not obey the US, they're going to take him out. But let's get to this ISIS threat. By the way, looking at the origins of ISIS.
In the Southern District of New York, our office has announced federal terrorism charges against Amir Balat and Ibrahim Kayut were improvised explosive devices, IEDs, designed to inflict serious injury and death to those in the vicinity of the intended blast zone. Both subjects have stated they were inspired by ISIS.
What is the probability of that? Seems like they're just prepping everybody for something. By the way, this Orfish video that people are posting right now saying it just happened, this was last year. I know because I posted it last year. It's getting frustrating that nobody fact checks anything. Anyways, let me know what you think below.
Can I talk about something scary real quick?
Please.
The Senate was issued satellite phones, or said in preparation of a disruptive event, man-made or natural disaster.
No!
Why?
But get this.
What's coming?
I'm fine with being scary. Just don't be vague.
Did you hear about that train that went missing?
In America?
Yeah. Contained 60,000 pounds of explosives on it.
Ah, no!
But the same week, the FDA released a commercial that was basically warning people of fake news. And the whole fake news was like someone tweeting like, heads up everyone, we're about to have a blackout of the internet.
So specific.
Be prepared. And it showed it like going viral and like people were getting scared. Like, don't be persuaded by fake news. And it says, use our website to like have all the real news. To stay aware of misinformation.
What is the Food and Drug Administration doing?
That's what I was wondering.
Strange.
Where?
People say broccoli is good for you.
Unless
Fake news.
Hey.
Fake news. It came out by the FDA. Hey, that's where the pirates are going to come out.
No pirates.
And I've had that phone call on my live stream. I don't know if I won't get into the details, but I'll just say this. There was a moment where I was discussing where I thought it was odd that a certain bill was being passed. I said, why would anyone bring this bill to the table? And the bill referred to if you talk about something, they want to be able to take your passport away. I know what?
In America?
Out of all the things you could have came up with, That's the one you're trying to push in Florida?
Mm.
And I started making fun. I said, who's? And they put it up. This is so and so from the state representative of Congress, and we'd like to have a conversation with you.
During your live stream?
No, like the next day.
Okay.
I went, yeah, what's up?
So
When certain voices speak, we like to like what we. I said, well, let me ask some questions. Why would this even? Let me ask you this: Why are you such a big supporter? I don't understand. Well, tap dance, tap dance, tap dance, tap. I said, I still understand. My dad was in World War II. Why don't we help people that lost their legs or all these kids that have Down? Why don't we do that? Well, tap dance, tap dance, tap dance, tap dance, tap dance. Well, I just want to make sure we're not. I said, there's no. It was just pure questioning. There was no bad intent question. I'm just very confused by someone from our nation in our state would worry about us talking about a place we don't even live in.
Yeah.
So you're telling me if I just question that, you're calling me? Huh. Does the rest of the world know about that?
Apparently, former head over at OpenAI has come out and said that they have built two, working on a third location where they're actually opening up portals and summoning, he used the word summoning, aliens through portals with AI, OpenAI. That is something that he said that OpenAI themselves are doing, not somebody with using AI. He's saying OpenAI, the company themselves, have, I think one was in the US, I forget where the other one was, but in the Middle East, they're building a third one. So what's that about, right?
What kind in the Middle East? Yeah, like in Babylon.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Ancient temples and stuff.
And then, and all of a sudden, you have aliens are stopping the war, and Bledsoe's prophecies coming true.
Oh yeah. No, so the lady that I think is so interesting is Amy Eskridge. So she was like the most recently added scientist to the list. What makes Amy just like so crazy is, well, number one, she was officially ruled her death as a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Several factors have contributed in the ongoing public debate and intense scrutiny surrounding the case. In interviews and podcasts recorded prior to her death, notably in 2020 and 2021, Eskridge alleged she and her team were being subjugated to harassment and psychological warfare intended to stop her work on anti-gravity and exotic physics at the Institute of Exotic Science. So she founded the Institute of Exotic Science with her dad, who was also a former Marshall Labs NASA space engineer. What kind of got me to go here, they recently added her to the list, but she has this whole confession of basically like, if something happens to me, I didn't do it to myself.
Information.
The earth is flat. And he said, absolute. So I was like, well, how do you explain you're in New York, it's 8 o'clock, it's dark. You FaceTime your friend in LA and it's daylight. He goes, oh, well, because it's not just flat, it's round, but it's flat. It's like it's a circle. And the sun, he says, circles around this flat earth.
The sun, okay.
Yeah.
So
there's the flat earth.
This is the flat earth. This is a dome. Okay. Let's just go, there's a dome.
There's a dome now. Okay. There's a new aspect of the flat earth. Let's go.
There's a dome, right? Okay. And the earth is literally, as it's rotating, the sun is in a triple eight. I mean, it was within the figure of infinity of the eight. And it's moving because last night I could FaceTime a friend of mine in Atlanta. It was dark in Atlanta and it was dark in LA.
Yeah, well, the middle of the night is going to be dark everywhere.
Okay. So everything is just, as the sun is moving within this dome. Now, the only reason, and I remember saying this to somebody, I said, you got to watch the beginning of the movie Gravity. The moon is 283,000 miles, right? From here. And no, it's 280,000 degrees below zero. Like, it is so cold in space. There's almost no way for us to exist in space. And it's so cold that you can't do the things that they are acting like they were able to do. So when they show the satellite,
space is 2.7 Kelvin, which is minus 455 degrees.
Minus 450. What?
Or 270 degrees, minus 270 degrees Celsius. Really cold.
What spaceship is going to withstand that cold? What outfit is going to withstand that cold? None.
Well,
so when they showed them outside the space station going around and doing.
Well, see, there's this thing in cars, right, called a heater. And when you press it, you can set the temperature and then hot air comes out and makes everything warm. I'm pretty sure they figured out one of these for a spaceship.
Can't.
Really?
Think about it.
Okay.
It's that cold. So this little small spaceship on the inside. Okay, let me just say this.
It's a heater.
Okay, I'm going to say this.
You could be in a cold room, you turn on a heater, it gets warm.
Do you think they use gas for their planes, for their spaceships?
They use fuel. Rocket fuel.
How?
What do you mean how?
They use it to get outside of the atmosphere.
Yes.
Then what?
Then there's more fuel.
Where?
But once you get out of the atmosphere, you don't need a ton of fuel because there's no atmosphere in space. So things just move on their own.
So it's like one guy believes what he wants to believe and there's no change in his mind. One guy believes what he wants to believe and there's no change in their mind. There's no like in the middle. It's my way or the highway with everything nowadays, especially here on this channel, y'all. My way or the highway. If I say anything that anybody disagrees with, I'm a shill, I'm this, I'm stupid, I'm asleep. Like it's my way or the highway.
If you're in space and you take a ball and you throw it, it'll just keep going because there's no atmosphere to throw it to slow it down.
So they don't need any fuel.
Well, the fuel will speed it up. But you don't need as much fuel in space as you do when there's air and you're actually hitting air molecules and trying to get them out the way as you're, trying to get through them.
They go to the International Space Center. I'm still going to call it that. Okay. International Space Center. And it's floating in the orbit that goes around the Earth.
Correct.
They can't go any further than that into space.
They have.
They can't go any further.
So they just hit a wall? There's the atmosphere, there's a dome, you just hit the dome and that's that?
That's it.
That's it? Okay.
You can't go outside of
What
it.
happens when you go over the edge?
Edge of what?
The Earth. Because if it's flat, then there's an edge.
Right. But there's an edge to our part. It's still flattened. Like there's no edge to it. I know it sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy.
Okay. But within our dome, within our space, are these outer lines. And then there's more outer lines.
Okay. Now, you do know that, some flat earthers went to Antarctica to prove the Earth was flat, and they realized once they got there that the sun didn't go down. And they have all basically said, okay, our mistake. It actually is round.
Right. Because on the top, what they should have done is calculated the sun goes like this.
Ah, yes, the figure eight.
How about on every state, local, and national ballot, we offer the final choice at the bottom? None of the above. People laugh at that, but what that truly is a vote of no confidence in government. Imagine for a moment, let's say I'm a Democrat, and I defeated my Republican opponent for Congress, but I lost to none of the above. More people cast their vote for none of the above than what I got. Wouldn't that make them go out there with a change of attitude? You lost to nobody. You're the congressman, but you lost to none of the above. I'm willing to bet right now there are elections in this country where none of the above would prevail. That would send a huge message to every elected official.
That's probably the darkest place I've ever been. It was worse than the Satanic Temple. They advertise it as an art festival. Burning Man becomes the second largest city in Nevada for a week. 70 to 80,000 people go there. And it's not a free-thinking art festival. It's a big LSD orgy. You walk in there and they've got like a purple school bus with blacked out windows and it's the orgy bus. And then next to it you have an electrolyte station, and then next to it you've got a cannabis shop, and then the next to it you got people's tents, and then they have that big statue that they burn at the end of the week. Sometimes people worship that thing, sometimes people don't. People are walking around no clothes. A lot of high profile people there that wouldn't want you to know that they were there. Like high profile CEOs doing just wild stuff. I'll never forget, we entered into the thing and I looked up and I noticed that there were naked people. immediately pulled my head down and I was like, God, protect my eyes. Like, I've got a beautiful girlfriend, my now wife. I only saw naked men the rest of the day. But it was dark, man. Like, it's just people lost and in search and in need of Jesus, but they won't turn to him. But we had some of the most fruitful conversations there.
Mind you, I've never been to a concert, and I kind of see why now. Like, I've just never been interested in going to a concert. I've never been that much of a fan of somebody to actually be like, I want to go see them perform. I've never been into music that hardcore. And, now I'm seeing why.
Took all the fruit trees and they sold the fruit back to us.
I didn't turn these
They
lights
took
on.
all the water,
Wow.
bottled it, sold it back to us. They took all the land, built on it, and said we had to buy it back. Why do y'all feel like we don't deserve a free life?
So on to the CIA. Did you hear what they actually just revealed? What now? So this is crazy. I did some extensive research on this. Quantum mechanics. The CIA has it. So right here, they have something called ghost murmur. It's a mechanism. It's a secret, never used tool to find an airman in Iran, where they say, if you have a heartbeat, we'll find you. If you ever been to a real desert, they take you way out there. It's like being in the ocean. It's that bad. Like, if you get stuck in the ocean, it is over with. There's nothing. Like, if you don't have water or shade, you're cooked. So they're trying to find this airman, and he's in the middle of nowhere, right? So the ghost murmur is essentially where the CIA has this tool. They're using something called quantum magnetometry.
Quantum magnetometry.
Yes.
I can barely say that.
Okay, understand that we are electromagnetic beings, right? So every time your heart beats, what it does is it has a magnetic field around it when it beats, right? Same thing how your mind, when you think of something, they do a scan, you give off electricity. So your heart gives off this very faint magnetic signal. So they use this mechanism, this process, to where they can pick it up, that magnetic signature, filter all the other noise out with AI, and locate you with precision. So this is how they found this airman. This process, how long have they had it? Because they're saying, oh, it's never used tool before, it's new.
Bullshit.
Is it?
How long?
How long, right? If they're talking about quantum magnetometry, which is part of quantum mechanics, and essentially what it means is where they have this signature, they can pinpoint you with precision. It's like being in a stadium with 10,000 people yelling, and they can find your exact voice. That's what it does. So with that type of precision, with that type of technology, so we're talking what? Quantum mechanics? So quantum computers, quantum physics, none of this shit is sci-fi anymore. It's real life.
I can't wait till you ask me which movie.
So which movie?
Predator. The very first Predator. He saw infrared, right?
Mm-hmm.
After Arnold Schwarzenegger covered himself in mud, he couldn't find him. However, Predator was like, doot, 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 and woof, woof, woof. Like, it literally switched his camera views in his helmet to different views to where he located, it wasn't heat, it was his heartbeat.
Oh, I remember that. That was in the first one?
That was the first one.
When did that movie come out?
89?
It might have been like 87. So you mean to tell me they had this technology already figured out in 1987?
I was gonna say it, but I was gonna give the movie up.
You see what I mean? They had this shit for decades.
That's why I said, okay, watch Predator, watch Terminator, watch Matrix, like, you'll be ready for all this shit.
So how did they depict this? That's almost 40 years ago.
I don't know. These motherfuckers like, you know what? That was cool in the movie. We should make that. Or maybe it was the other way around. They were like, oh, we should make a movie about this shit because we got it.
But that's what I mean, though. So we have this technology to where they're disclosing this. So imagine what they do have, what they're not disclosing.
I'm scared.
Yeah, imagine the things they're not showing us. But like, even like they show us in the movies, but they even show us in the video games, y'all. That's why that wasn't a big shock to me. I remember I used to play Call of Duty like crazy back in the day, y'all. And, they had the heartbeat sensor, right? You can be up, the little campers would be up in the corner and they'd pull out their heartbeat sensor and you'll see anybody within, 50, 100 meters of you, you'll see their heartbeat. And you'll see when they're getting close, and you'll turn red when they're getting close. Their heartbeat, right? A heartbeat sensor, like that. They've been showing us that on video games and in movies. So you guys want to know things, like play Call of Duty, and they'll tell you where our military's going. Not now. It's kind of trash now.
The old cartoon, The Jetsons. George says, what was being portrayed in the early '60s there? That technology existed at that time. It literally existed. It was a cartoon, but it actually was stuff that we had.
Meet George Jetson.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this.
Facts. So explain this to me. 50 years ago, a barber and a waitress could buy a house with a big yard for a dog and raise 4 kids, meat and potatoes on the dinner table every night. And now an accountant and a lawyer can't do that. Why is that?
Just making dollar bills with nothing behind it, nothing to back it.
If you have an economy with 10 apples and $10, it's $1 an apple. You double the number of dollars to 20, but you still only have 10 apples. Well, all of a sudden it's $2 an apple. It's not that the cost of apples has gone up. It still costs the same resources to grow and pick the apples. It's that the price has gone up because the value of the money has gone down.
Right.
So in America, over the last 55 years, you've doubled the number of homes in America from about 70 million to 150 million. You know how much the money supply has grown? 30 times. So you have twice the homes, but 30 times the cash. Housing costs have gone up 15-fold in 55 years. And now an entire generation of kids can't afford homes. This is the biggest wealth transfer from the working class to the elites, from I say the have-nots to the have-yachts.
I mean, I told you guys, it's back in the day when inflation went up and all that, there wasn't all these billionaires. There wasn't like all these strip malls. It was like a local hardware store, local grocery store, local gas station, maybe a liquor store. And that's about it in your city back in the day. Now, Target every corner, Walmart every corner, grocery store every corner, Ross, every store in these elites, Amazon's popping up everywhere. Now these data centers popping up everywhere. Like the elites are just draining us for everything. And people worship these guys. They look at them like they're geniuses. They look at the Bezos, the Musks, all these people like, man, they're so genius. I wish I could just sit down and have a dinner with them, right? Not knowing that company was given to them, right? They're just the face of it. And they're robbing us, y'all. They're robbing us for everything we have. And I get comments all the time like, what can we do about it? Honestly, y'all, there's nothing we can do about it. These people are freaking geniuses with how they divide us, how they keep us distracted. They are geniuses at it. And the majority of people are asleep. That's why they say if we release this alien stuff, people are going to freak out. That's the people that are asleep that are going to freak out. They're going to freak out. And that's the majority, unfortunately.
You got surrogate farms in India? Why is nobody talking about that? Y'all, it literally just came across my For You page 2 days ago. Whoa.
Easy.
What the fuck?
All right, I'm gonna start throwing some ghost paranormal stuff in the videos a little bit, y'all, a little bit. See how you guys like it. Maybe we'll have one full video of paranormal mixed and then another video conspiracy one day. Let me know if you guys are interested in that.
There's another scarf. You see what I'm saying?
Give you guys some ghost stories. I got a couple.
That? Tree? No. You moved it.
This was at Gettysburg, I think.
Right there. See it? Uh-huh. Look. Look. Isn't it those people? Can't be.
There's nobody.
Not up in the trees.
There's nobody down there no more. See?
I remember we went camping one time. Now we used to always go camping, the family, right? Back when it was fun, the cousins. We used to play boys versus girls, wiffle ball. Like we used to have a bunch of us, y'all. But one time we went camping, and I had a cousin that passed away in a car accident. He was, God, I forgot how old he was. He was like 17, 18 years old, passed away, right? And we were talking about him while we were camping. Like he just came up in conversation. We were saying how much he loved camping and all that. And me and my sister saw like a white figure in the trees, like walk by. Me and her both saw it, and we looked at each other, and then like we were saying like that was him because he loved camping, he loved being out there, y'all. And let me know if you guys want to see like maybe a separate episode over here. We can have like 2 episodes a week of paranormal, videos and get into some ghost stories, and you guys can tell me some of your ghost stories in the comments, and maybe I can talk about them in the video. I got a lot. Not personal, but stories I've heard from
Number
people.
2, they're not killing anybody no more, not because they're not capable. And I'm not saying they're not capable of killing me. I go, but would you want to be the guy to try to come kill me? Number 1, you got to kill me. How do you know I'm not going to kill you? Number 1, because I am a killer. But You got cameras everywhere.
Yeah,
I don't care where you go.
2024 is,
I don't
yeah.
care. You could think of any way. I was having a talk with a guy in at the cigar place last night, and we're talking like, how would you kill somebody today? Like he's a movie producer, and he's trying to do it for his production thing, like in a way to say, how would a guy get away with killing today? You can't. Like you could say, well, I'll go drive somewhere on a motorcycle with a mask on. You know, you're white and dressed like a black man, or you're black and dressed like a white man, and walk in there with a wig and go in there on a motorcycle and walk into the place and blow the guy's brains out and then get back. You still got to get back on a motorcycle. That motorcycle's going somewhere, and it's going by cameras. They're going to businesses. You know, like that guy Hernandez when he killed the guy and
Aaron Hernandez, yeah.
They followed him for, I don't know, 100 miles to find out where that car went.
Yeah, I mean, I asked this question to various people. I remember when I asked Sammy the Bull if he could kill someone in 2024 and get away with it.
I remember he said yes.
He said yes, because he feels that he'll stake out the situation. He's very
Right.
patient. It'll take him a long time. I don't know, though.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
I don't know.
There's a chance, a lucky chance that, you could even say you're going for a jog, and then you shoot, what are you you're knocking on a guy's door, you shoot him, and then you run. So you're still going to run somewhere.
Just all you got to do is look at just your typical rural Christian church. And I do this all the time. You're driving along and you see the steeple with the cross. Remember, the cross symbolically symbolizes the earth. It symbolizes the material realm. It symbolizes the 4 ages of the world, right? I should pull it up and show you. I've juxtaposed a rocket nose cone on, and essentially it's got the same geometry as the steeple. And then at the top of that nose cone, you've got the cross, the symbol of the world, the symbol of the earth. It's almost as if the steeple itself as a church is saying, look, here we're elevating the material world up to the heavens.
I went to a church yesterday. I was donating a bunch of stuff. I was just going to put it on the curb for people to take. I was driving by a church. So, you know what? I'm going to stop in here and see if they need some clothes or whatever, right? And when I went in that church, I haven't been in a church in a while, and it just made me realize, like, I need to get back into it, start going. But it was just something about just being in there. I don't know if it was just the temperature was perfect, the smell, it just felt like clean, fresh air in there. And it was just a sense of like peace and no worry. It was weird when I was in there, and I ended up donating everything. I ended up talking to the pastor and talking to the tool guy because about motorcycles. I'm trying to sell my lady's motorcycle she's got from the past. And, I networked in there and I got her number. She's a realtor, you know what I mean? Just like networking. But there was just something about being in that church where I felt like, I guess, happy. I felt pure. I don't know. It was weird. The air was fresh. It was perfect, nice and cool in there. The fans were blowing. It was just a good feeling being in there.
Adjust your eyes, don't move your body.
Can I just get your ID and registration, please?
Yes, of course.
What? Hey, what? Ma'am, put that down now. I don't know if you have any weapons on you.
I am a weapon.
I need you to follow my finger with just your eyes.
I'm a disabled veteran.
Focus.
You and I should get out of here.
Don't move your body.
You would have said.
What? Follow my finger with just your eyes, don't move your body.
I love police cameras.
Got a lazy eye or something? You will blow into this mouthpiece for 3 seconons. Do you understand?
I bet you like that.
Nice.
This chick's supposed to be dead.
What does that mean?
I don't think the system says she got 3 years
Hey
ago
guys,
drunk driving.
I'm gonna go.
What the? Stop! You know what? You are under arrest. You're under arrest.
No.
Behind your back.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Holy shit!
I love me some police cameras. There you go, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I've been trying so much different things, y'all. My videos aren't getting recommended no more. If you guys notice, my views went from 50, 60,000 down to 15 and 20,000 like that overnight. It's happening on YouTube. I'm trying all these things, doing things different. And I realized, you know what? Just be yourself. That's all you can do. Right? If YouTube wants to put your video on the recommended or not, just be yourself, because you guys love me talking. You guys, at my outros, I'm starting to be short and like, I like to talk to you guys. I love talking with you guys. I'm sure the video is going to drop off, whatever. But this is what I like to do, y'all. I love to get on here, talk to you guys, share my knowledge. I'm not saying I'm right all the time. I'm probably wrong most of the time, but I just watch these videos for the first time and speak my mind of what I'm seeing with you guys, right? Just live and direct with you guys. I'm not watching these videos 3 times and taking notes. Like, it's my first time watching this, but you guys reached the end of the video. What really helps the channel grow from what I've seen from these, countless videos I've been watching on YouTube changing its algorithm is sharing the video, continuing watching, doesn't got to be my content, but staying on YouTube and watching a video. When you turn off the TV right now, I guess that's bad for our videos now, which doesn't make sense. You guys just sat here for an hour and 10 minutes, you know what I mean? But hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're getting back to the hour bangers. I'm just gonna do me, y'all. 5 uploads a week. This is just what I'm gonna do, y'all. I'm just gonna be myself. You know what I mean? You guys like it. You guys have been rocking with it. Why am I gonna change that? You know what I mean? But this is Segovia. I'm signing out the Man Cave. I hope everyone out there has a good Friday night. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Hit that thumbs up. Share the video. Continue watching YouTube, even if it's just one more video for your boy, and then log off on their video. You know what I'm saying? I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.